Welcome to a brand new episode of Fight Lounge. I'm your host, RJ Meads, and it's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. KSI vs. Logan Paul 2 is finally here. The much anticipated rematch is just days away. If you go on my YouTube channel and look at my previous videos, I have stated that I doubt we was going to see this fight happen in 2019. I thought it was going to happen next year. Thankfully, I was wrong, and this fight is happening on November 9th. It is on the Zone, promoted by Eddie Hearn, which I have mixed feelings about because I predicted that we would have no YouTubers on the undercard, and it turns out I was right, But hey, there's always the Jake Paul versus Gibb card, so they could put some, YouTubers on that. And I'm going to go right into my predictions, but before I do want to say that the reason why I started this whole YouTube channel was because of KSI vs. Logan Paul 1. I said this multiple times, so I'll sum it up real quick. I didn't know about KSI vs. Logan Paul 1 until 2 days before the event. And I didn't even know about the YouTube culture. I was like, man, there are YouTubers who's making money and making millions. I just didn't know about it. And so when I saw that event, all those different YouTubers, all those different personalities and etc., I was like, oh, okay. I was very interested about it. And I'm like, if they can create their own channel, why can't I? And so that's why I created Fight Lounge. And then I can talk about boxing, UFC, and anything I want, even YouTube boxing, and even in a couple months, YouTube MMA. Yes, that's true, YouTube MMA. If you hated YouTube boxing, well, I'm sorry, it's spreading to now YouTube MMA. The only person that I know from that card is JMX. He fought twice on YouTube boxing, on the Joel undercard and Logan Paul 1 undercard. And he's the only guy I know. I'm in the US, so I don't know all the London celebrities who's on that. But hey, I might even get my predictions and break down that card too. But that's next month. But yeah, it is kind of funny how KSI vs. Logan Paul, that event and the whole event and the hype made me like, why can't I just create my own YouTube account? I'm gonna do the stuff they do. They do skits, music, stuff like that. But what am I interested in? And my interests are UFC, boxing, and just MMA, fighting in general. And so yeah, my very first video was uploaded with my prediction for Dan Cormier versus Derek Lewis, and that was on November 2nd. So after we just passed it by a couple of days. So I have devoted 1 year to this, and as of now we have like 305, like 305 subscribers. Hey, I'll take it. I wish it was 3,000 or 1,000, but we'll get there eventually. But if you're listening, make sure you like this video and even subscribe to my channel. That way I can, hit my 1,000 or even 3,000 subscriber mark. I will not hold you guys any further. I will give my prediction for KSI vs. Logan Paul 2. Honestly, everybody who I've watched or listened to pretty much has the same prediction. If the fight ends in the first 2 rounds, it's because of Logan Paul. He won by KO or TKO because he is the bigger fighter. He's a stronger fighter. He has a longer reach than KSI, and he's more athletic. So you just think that he will win. However, if the fight goes further than 2 rounds, like round 3, 4, 5, and even 6, it favors KSI because of his cardio. Also, you can see how much KSI and Logan has matured. Vidal Riley and KSI for months or even weeks has said that they will have 5th round TKO, and for a while Logan was saying 1st round knockout. But now after leaving camp and he knows it's easier said than done, now he's saying 5th round knockout. And I think because he knows that KSI has taken this seriously. They've been in the ring together, they know each other's move. It's just this time it's how much better have they got as a boxer? Have they developed any new skill? The one thing about KSI, if you go and look, he just threw haymakers. He dug and threw haymakers. For Logan, he's had that jab, and he was showboating in the first 2 rounds, and that was it. And then he got tired, he punched himself out. I highly doubt we will see Logan punch himself out. I think he's going to use a jab. He's going to punch and I think that's another thing that's an advantage and disadvantage about Logan, because he's in the US, it's in LA. He'll have the crowd on the side. Not 100%. Logan won't have 100% of the crowd, but everybody came to see him win, and that is pressure. KSI felt pressure twice against Joe Weller when people wanted to see him lose, and even people want to see him win when Logan was over there. So I think Logan go face pressure. Gonna have his family there. Gonna have his friends there. And again, he lives in LA, so if he gets knocked out, these people, he's gonna run into these people. He can't hide. And I'm going with the prediction that everybody else is going with. I think if this fight ends in round 1, round 2, it would be because of Logan. I do see Logan be the aggressor, and he is big. He wants a knockout. And my thing is, I actually think they're gonna fill each other out. I think that's the first thing that's gonna surprise people. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of action at first. I think they're going to fill each other out, and then when the crowd starts getting restless as they start booing, then I see Logan rushing, and because like that's the pressure. KSI don't care. He don't care if people are booing. They're not there. They see him potentially lose. Logan has the pressure, so I think they're gonna fill each other out. And then when the fans are restless and booing, then I can see Logan, be the aggressor. However, I got a feeling that this fight won't end in a knockout. I really don't. The only thing I can see, if one of them are just so exhausted, and one of the corners just throw a towels in. I don't think Logan's going to leave KSI face plant down. I don't think KSI going to leave Logan face plant down. I think we'll probably see not a doctor stoppage, or a referee step in, or a tower thrown in. However, if I'm in KSI's corner, like Vidal Riley, Leon, and Jeff Mayweather, I tell them, let's win on points. Let's win by rounds. It'll still be a silent fight, but Logan will be aggressor. That he's heavier, which means time and cardio is not on his side. So if the knockout's there, of course take it. But I would do a lot of counters. I will let Logan be the aggressor. Let Logan punch himself out by throwing punches, and do some counters here and there, and just win via a unanimous decision. And the reason why I think KSI should win by points is because he's a pro fighter, and when you become a pro fighter, you have to be a smarter fighter. And when you're in the Mayweather camp, and the Mayweathers are defensive geniuses, that's what I would do. Of course, everyone wants to knock out, everyone wants to highlight reel, but you need to have your hands raised at the end of the night by any means necessary. If you're in Logan's camp, I tell him you have to get this guy out before round 3, because like I said, Logan just the natural heavier guy, and the longer it goes, the less likely it is for him to still have the same energy in round 1 as in round 5, especially like I said, when you have KSI who's the more faster. And I think he will run a little bit. I think he will make Logan chase him a little bit because he is a pro. I think that's going to be the number one thing that's going to surprise people. I think KSI is going to have a real pro thinking. He's not gonna, and you two, they just wild. You can look like they are beginners now, but you can really tell they was beginners. It was like, if it connects, if it doesn't, it doesn't. Now they're gonna be very tactical with it. They're gonna be very patient with it. I know that's a prediction that you guys probably don't want to hear. You'd rather hear me say, KSI by TKO, or Logan by ref stoppage or something like that. But honestly, people forget they was even the first fight. That's the reason why it was a draw. I don't see the skill level being that drastically, that the gap to be that far apart. Both has grown. On Saturday, we will see how far one has outgrown the other and how more skillful the other is. But I don't think the gap will be that massive. I think clearly you see the KSI is a faster fighter. Logan is the bigger fighter, but when it comes to actual skill, we will just have to wait and see. And that's my prediction. Let me know who you think is gonna win down in the comments. Let me know who's gonna win, how they gonna win, what round. And what I'm gonna talk about next is the aftermath, where I think KSI goes from here, where I think Logan Paul goes from here, and YouTube boxing in general goes from here. And now I will talk about the aftermath of KSI versus Logan Paul 2. I think if KSI wins, I think he will go forward with the sport of boxing. I do think he will wait to see the winner between Gib and Jake Paul. If Jake Paul wins, then boom, that's the next fight, Jake Paul versus KSI. But if Jake Paul loses to Gib, I don't know what KSI does. If Logan wins, I think this is it for him in boxing. Logan has said multiple times that he wants to fight in the UFC, which in my opinion is going backwards. Not only going backwards, it's going ass backwards because money's in boxing. You know, UFC is a more popular sport. Just what happened with Canelo. Canelo's the most profitable boxer. I think Forbes, he made $95 million, and so he's, if not the biggest name, top 3 biggest name. And they had to wait for UFC 244 to be done with, because they know everybody's watching that. So yeah, UFC is a more popular sport, but the money's in boxing. But hey, you know, it's Logan Paul. You know, everybody has their own little I guess dreams and goals, and that's his goal, to fight in UFC. And if he wins, it's hard for Dan White to turn him down. When you look at the viewership and overall, when you just look at the money, we look at the numbers that Logan Paul is doing, it's gonna be hard for Dan White to turn him down. And again, he gave CM Punk 2 fights when he should only have 1 fight because he was trash. But Punk won't bring, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think Logan Paul will bring in a bigger audience to UFC than CM Punk. Like I said, I may be wrong, but after seeing the success of the first KSI Logan Paul fight and even this one, I think it's very possible. And not only that, Logan Paul, now he has a history of fighting, but also has a wrestling background as well. So he should fight a guy who's 0-1 or, you know, 1-0. However, with the UFC, if you're coming into Dan White's sport, he's gonna throw you to the wolves. Like I said, CM Punk, he fought Mickey Gall, and he was 1-0 as a pro fighter. But Mickey Gall has been doing MMA since he was 15 years old, and I believe he did in jiu-jitsu tournament. Like, the dude has a fighting background of years. Ben Askren, his very first fight in the UFC, coming from a different outside promotion, was against a former champion, Robbie Lawler, who messed him up pretty bad. He almost knocked him out. His second fight against Jorge Masvidal, who's now the biggest name in MMA, who got knocked out in 5 seconds. And in his third fight, which you would think Dan White would throw him a bone, is against one of the all-time best grapplers of all time, and he got submitted. Brock Lesnar, when he first got into the sport, his very first fight in the UFC, Dan White threw former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir. Brock Lesnar's very first fight was against a former champion, legendary Hall of Fame boxer James Toney. When he told Dan White that he wanted to fight in the UFC, Dan White put him in the cage against an all-time great, Randy Couture, former UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight champion. All-time great. His very first UFC fight. Alright, we're putting against this guy. So basically, now, is that smart business wise? Probably not, but my point is, if Logan do go into the UFC, guaranteed Dan White's gonna put him against a former champion. And Logan's 200 pounds, he might be in middleweight. I can see him going against light heavyweight. And if Dana doesn't put him with a champion, he'll put him with either a former contender or a top 5, top 6 elite fighter. And like I said, is that smart for business? Probably not, but I think Dan White wants to know how tough you are, because he knows his fights is going to sell regardless. Now with Brock Lesnar, the fight sold very well. With CM Punk, price didn't sell as good because he got exposed. Same thing with James Toney. Like, that was the first and last fight James Toney ever did. And so I think if Logan Paul beats KSI, I do think that he's going to try going into the UFC. My personal opinion, I think he should do Bellator. He already has beef with Dylan Danish. Dylan Danish is the right hand man of Conor McGregor, and I think they could easily make that fight. It's funny, I just looked at the time. I told myself this is gonna be a short episode. I'm just talking about one fight, one event. I'll be in and out. But yeah, I'm way past the 10-minute mark. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, if you listen to this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, share it, that helps a lot. And again, I've been following YouTube boxing specifically since KSI versus Logan Paul 1. I was also following YouTube and Slim fight in that big event. So if you are a fan of YouTube boxing, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I find it's all interesting. I know they're not Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders is on the fight. I know they're not on their level skill wise, but you can argue Haney and Billy is not on their level for popularity or drawing ability. It's just facts. So I find it interesting, and at the end of the day, it's just all fun. When I heard about the diss tracks, they did against each other, I'm like, okay, they're having fun with it. Now turn pro, does it take some of the fun out? I think a little bit, but hey, you gotta take the sport seriously. We about to make some serious money, and I don't think they're gonna sell Staples Center, but they sold a lot of tickets. The reason I didn't go deep on if KSI loses, because he told on the True Word podcast, he said, if I lose, I'm just gonna fight again. And that's true. That's how every pro boxer, like, if you get knocked out or whatever, just shake the loss off and just go back fighting. And I think I could easily see that happening. If Logan loses, I'm pretty sure this will be it for YouTube boxing. He may still want to go in the UFC, but it's gonna be very hard. Like I said, if he wins, he at least has some leverage. He at least will have a meeting with Dan White, because it would make sense. He can say, "Yo, I sold out. Sold out Staples Center, and clearly I can fight." But yeah, like I said, next month, YouTube MMA is hitting. Fame MMA UK is the promotion. JMX will be fighting. Like I said, he's the only person who I know is on that card. So I may break that down. Fidel Riley will be making his Mayweather production debut on the December 28th. He's featured on, I believe it's in Atlanta. I'm not sure. Once I get more information, I'll let you guys know. So even though we're getting close to the end of the year, there's still plenty of fights left. UFC 245, 3 championships is on the line. So I know 2009 is about to wrap up, but 2019, I'm saying 2009. I know 2019 is about to wrap up, but there's still plenty of exciting fights left. And that would do it for me. Like I said, if you're a fan of YouTube boxing or boxing in general, UFC, Bellator, I even cover bare knuckle fighting. I believe there's an event, another event coming up in a couple weeks. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will say, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because I post daily content on there. I usually post daily content on here, but if the video's only like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, unless it's important, I won't post on here, but I will post on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, make sure you follow me on there. And that would do it. I may not have a post show on KSI versus Logan. It depends. If it's a knockout, like a knockout of the year contender, then I may do it. But until then, I don't know when the next time I do another prediction. Maybe UFC 245, maybe, I don't know. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Like I said, make sure you like this video, comment below for your prediction, share it, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.